the ice at the same time. Props to you, sir. Don't let Matt Cook get you again. So anyway, like I was saying, Ottawa battled back. When we had Matt Krubovich on, we said Ottawa. Craig Anderson stole games for Ottawa. He absolutely robbed Montreal. And the centers, the secondary scoring, stepped up big time. Because remember, Jason Spezza, he's still gone. He still has not returned to the Senators team, and his timeline for return is still very much up in the air. It's still questionable for him. And the fact that Ottawa had guys like Pajot, and you had Martin McDougall step up, and you had the captain, Daniel Alfredsson, play his Swedish heart out. This team was on a mission, but against the Penguins. I don't know if they can get it done, because the Penguins' power play can hurt you any time they want. And look at the lines of Pittsburgh. Look what Sidney Crosby does when he's on the ice. And then, of course, Rome McGinley, Pascal Dupuis, Brendan Morrow. The list goes on and on. And we mentioned Matt Cook. And yeah, of course, the whole controversy, did he hurt Carlson on purpose? Matt Cook is still a guy who is an offensive threat. You cannot forget about him in front of Craig Anderson. He can score. He is able to score just as easily as a Brendan Morrow. So I think Pittsburgh has more firepower and will get past Ottawa, but it'll be in 7. There's no way this series does not go 7. Paul McLean is a smart man, and he will make sure he can neutralize the Penguins somewhat. Even though right now, I was keeping track of the game. Thank you, CBC, for webcasting your games. That to me is fantastic stuff. I love the fact that CBC is streaming all of the playoff games, because not everyone has the ability to get in front of a TV and watch games. That is fantastic stuff right now. Thank you, CBC, for allowing multi-platform ways to watch games this year. It's fantastic stuff. Absolutely goodness indeed. Got a full chat room right now. We have Carlson, Borzy, Chang, LF, Laurie. Great stuff to see a lot of folks in the chat room. How are y'all doing? Hope y'all having a great night watching the playoffs. Just love it. And the mustache is starting to slowly come in a little bit. You can see it here in the cameras of Avry Sports. See it somewhat. You can kind of, sort of, see my facial hair growth. It's better than what it was years ago when I first tried to grow a playoff mustache, which was quite awful and quite embarrassing. I couldn't, yeah, I know it's greasy. It really is a greasy kind of mustache. Oh, but you know what? I do what I can. Hey, it kind of rivals Sidney Crosby's stash, don't you think? I am rivaling Crosby to an extent with my stash, because we both lack the ability to get a good flow going on our face. Another series that happened in the first round. Naturally, Chicago got past Minnesota. No shock at all. But of course, Chicago, Minnesota. Big props to Josh Harding standing in there, but he got injured. What hurt the Wild in that series was the goalies kept on getting hurt. Backstrom was hurt. Harding was hurt. It got so bad. At one point, it ended up being Darcy Kemper in net for the Wild. And if Kemper got hurt, we would have seen Jeff Delorier in net for the Wild. Remember him, Edmonton? And all Oilers fans recall Mr. JDD. He'd have been in net for the Wild if something happened to Darcy Kemper. So that really hurt the Wild big time. But of course, Mikko Koivu, he was kind of sleeping, wasn't he, in that series? Koivu was kind of... Zach Parise, Ryan Suter. Where are you guys at in this series? Where was Zach Parise? Hello? Nowhere to be found, unfortunately for the Wild. Unfortunately for Chuck Fletcher and that organization, who pumped so much dough into these two guys, and to be unable to get out of the first round, yikes. I need a distraction. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Conway Twitty. I bet you that is what Chuck Fletcher wishes he had in Minnesota to distract from the fact his team blew it in the first round. I bet you we should have some Conway Twitty with him. Too funny, too unfortunate. But the Hawks, you knew they were going to get past Chicago, or get past Minnesota. It was a guarantee. I've said it time and time again. Crawford in net. Props to you, sir. Didn't expect you to be the franchise goalie. Not many did, but standing on his head and spitting out wooden nickels, as Darren Pang says. Great stuff. Of course, we mentioned Toronto and Boston, and all Toronto, I mean, 50% of Ontario is probably in a state of depression right now after seeing Toronto come oh so close to getting to the second round, and now being forced to watch these guys play in a golf course until it's time for training camp again for 2013, 2014. Would Twitter have been able to handle the Leafs in the second round? Would Twitter be able to handle the Leafs in the Stanley Cup Finals? I don't know. I really wish it would have happened just for that sake. Even though I had Chicago, I still do have Chicago and Pittsburgh in the Cup Finals. Could you imagine the pandemonium across Ontario if the Leafs made the Stanley Cup Finals? Would have been a pure gong show. I know Jeffler would have been going crazy, but c'est la vie. It was not meant to be for the blue and white. Wasn't meant to happen. Wasn't meant to happen, but the guys who showed so much growth in this series, Nazem Kadri and James Reimer, great stuff, great series for the both of them. And the Leafs, they'll be back in the playoffs for a few years to come. This was not a one-and-done run in this year's playoffs. They'll be in the postseason next year. I guarantee it. That is an Avry Sports Show guarantee, or your fictional money back. As will Edmonton. And of course, their series, the Rangers and the Capitals. Once again, the Capitals cannot get it done. What is up with this Capitals team? They just cannot get the big wins when they need it in the postseason. They had the Rangers down and out of 3-2, but New York battled back, and in Game 7, Henrik Lundqvist shut the door on Washington. If you're Ovi, how frustrated are you? If you are Mike Green, you're pulling your hair out. You cannot get past the first or the second round. You cannot get over that hump. And once again, you choke big time. What do you do with the Capitals? I mean, if you're out of mode, if your job is safe right now, you're still safe. But if you're Ovechkin, you're Green, you're Nick Backstrom, you are just thinking, it's replay. It's like putting in a video VHS tape and rewinding it over and over and over and over and over again. Can't win. Same story, year in, year out. And great point by Boise. Great point. The Capitals are a bunch of Alex Simmons. Only show up when they want to. And there's the great picture from, Game 3 in New York, where there's a goal on Braden Holtby, and Ovechkin is not even back-checking. He's drifting back into the play, watching the puck go past Braden Holtby. No effort at all. No hustle to get back into play and break up a 2-on-1. I mean, yikes. If that doesn't say a guy just loves playing offense only, I don't know what does. Anyway, we'll take another commercial break and be right back with a whole ton more of sports talk. NBA playoff talk and Manchester United. Man U and Sir Alex Ferguson retires after 26 years of being the manager of Man U. 26 years as the skipper. Insanity. Avry Sports Show. Come back for more. Livestream.com/Avry Sports. Booyah Shaka.